How's the streaming on the...
Howdy, everybody. How's everybody doing? Kyle, I see ya. Hopefully everybody can hear me. Make a comment, please, if you can. We're going to get you set up on the telly here.
On YouTube?
Look at that. It actually showed up this time. I think it was like last time or last time before it was...
It was stuck.
Yeah, like it didn't even exist.
Yeah.
It was weird. All right, guys, hopefully you can hear me. Let me know if you can. I think the chat is live chat, all messages.
It's about a 2 or 3 second delay.
Howdy. Whoa, Tasmania, we got Waz on there. Hey, Chad, how are ya?
Chad, Mr. Carr.
Mr. Carr.
Mr.
Chad Carr Jets.
Yeah, that's a good one for him.
All right.
That's a good nickname.
Coming through good. Perfect. Thanks, guys. Howdy, David. Brady from Miami. Welcome.
My mammy.
Well, there's what we've been working on so far for the past few days, few weeks, right there. Tricky Ricky, nice to see you. I'm going to flip you guys around so I can actually see your comments. Crazy. It's not snowing here yet. It feels like it's going to be snowing. It's really cold out.
-2 right
Yeah,
now.
it was actually a pretty nice day, and then it got a lot colder today, and it's supposed to kind of turn crappy over the, over the next couple days, yeah. But then it's supposed to be nice next week.
Sometime.
So
maybe get 1 or 2 days of flying in.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I think that's pretty optimistic. So
I think so too.
Well, hey guys, welcome back to our live, and nice to see everybody here. Greetings from Long Island. Jim McQueen, nice to see you. Yeah, welcome to our live. We don't have any questions tonight. Really, the past 2 weeks have, there's really nothing like crazy going on. Just been working on planes. That's basically it. The shop's very empty right now, and next weekend it'll be even more empty because we have 2 planes getting delivered. And that's pretty much it. So I'll give you guys a quick rundown of what we've got happening right now. We do have a whole bunch of planes that we've added to the build board, and there are some that we've added that, or haven't added, that need to be added. Just waiting for some commitments and things like that. So anyways, I will flip you guys around. And let's take a quick look at everything we've been working on. So sorry about the shakiness. What's the radial for? The radial is for, right down there, the radial is for a Hangar 9 Corsair. So next weekend, the Elite Aerosports Razor will be gone. The Super Bandit, which we've been working on, will be gone. We did do a video series on the Super Bandit. The cool thing about that video series is it is... I think the first video is already up on YouTube, so if you guys are members, you're able to watch that. If you're not a member, you're going to have to wait till a week from today, and that video will be live. And I think it's something like, so you bought a used plane type of idea. So this plane has been stripped down, and we are almost done the plane. I was really trying to get it done for tonight to do a engine run up on it, but we're still a little ways behind. So we're still waiting on a few parts for the Bronco, but the Bronco build series is done. The final video comes out on Wednesday for the Bronco. Like I said, Saturday, the Super Bandit starts. This is only going to be 2 videos on the Super Bandit. So essentially it was stripping everything down, redoing the wings, and the surfaces. It's got all new wiring, all new airlines, everything's brand new in it. We've painted the inside, done a whole bunch of work on it, and yeah, it's turning out really nice. It's a very tight plane. Thank you, David. Yes, the Bronco is absolutely awesome. Turned out a lot better than I was kind of expecting. Maybe that's the wrong way to say it, but the only things we have left to do on the Bronco is we actually need to take this, the call sign, and put it down there. So we've got some new names printed here. We've got some louvers coming from Joe from RC Custom 3D Printing. So our ESCs are right here. and we're going to put those louvers right beside the ESCs. So as this thing travels through the air, and we're going to have them sucking air in. So basically it's going to force air over top of the ESCs. Exactly. I think that's a good idea. We're waiting for a new ESC or the ESC to get serviced. And we also have 6 new motors for the retract. So we're going to probably put 2 of these in, maybe 3 of them in. And Kyle, the owner, will have a bunch of extras. So those showed up as well too, so we need to get those switched out. But that is basically the Bronco. Turned out awesome. That will get probably shipped off in the next week or 2 here. Super Bandit turned out really nice. It's coming along very nice. Tricky Ricky said, Jonathan, did you get the engine built on the Corsair? The Corsair is still sitting in a box, and the engine, I haven't run it yet. So yeah, that's kind of been put on the back burner, but we will get to that very soon. Yes, after talking with a couple guys, I think those little louvers are going to be a very important thing, and it's going to be very helpful. Now, we did a couple other things if you're watching the build video series, like putting a vent at the back to have air move through the fuselage. So that's also going to help out with those louvers, right? The louvers are going to suck in air or allow air to come in, and it's got an escape route in the bottom of the back there. Perfect, Kyle. Thank you. We'll put all 3 in. Brady, I'll get to your question in a minute here. There is the Super Bandit. So plane is very tight. There's a lot of stuff to jam in this thing. The last one we did, the red one, was all electric gear. So this one we have a lot of air stuff to fit in. So we've got our brake valve there. We've got our other air stuff mounted there, but
a fuel pump there.
Yeah, fuel pump there. It's turning out really nice, though. It'll be clean and organized once it's all done. So that's
that looks good, though.
the Super Bandit. Yeah, so coming up after the Super Bandit's done, we've got the pattern plane. I forget the manufacturer, but that guy needs to get going, and then we've also got a helicopter down there as well too. So that's going to be starting as well. So lots of projects. Then we've got some other stuff. I'll take you over to the build board here. So there's kind of a current list of to-dos. So my T-33, I would really like to get it done this winter. The pattern plane is the one that's over there. The helicopter is the one that's over there. The F100 BVM, if you guys are on Facebook, you'll see that David posted some pictures of that. That's going to be coming up here soon. We've got the A10, which is sitting right there. And that A10 is getting some work done on it and repainted to the black snake scheme. Spitfire for Stacy, right there. That's just an engine install. Skymaster F-15 XXL, that should be here in December. That's going to be our first large 2025 plane that shows up. The Hangar 9 Corsair, that's the one with the radial that's behind us. Some of the other big projects for next year, we have got the F4 XXL from CARF, the Su-30, the CARF F100. We've got a Rebel Hot for me coming probably in December, and then Rebel Classic for David coming in December-ish. So
He's getting another classic. That's
yeah,
good.
Classic's a good one to always have.
Yeah.
So
It's
that's
a kick around.
yeah. So that's kind of been the stuff. Yeah, the shop's feeling very empty, but very soon it won't be empty for long. So Brady, you asked about upcoming events. May go to Miami Jets. That's still a bit of a toss-up right now. We'll see how that pans out. And the next event after that would be Tucson Jets in like March-ish, whenever that is. And
Second week of March, probably.
yeah, second week of March. Thanks, Russell.
Yeah.
Oh, Russell, David says hi.
Oh, hi, David.
Always a good idea to have a classic Rebel. Yes.
Always a, prompted.
Ward's here. He took a phone call like an hour ago. I think he's dealing with a credit card issue or something.
Oh.
And he is inside sitting at my kitchen table on the phone.
Is that what that was?
Yeah.
I thought it was the Philippine connection.
No.
Sorry.
Something like that. I'm just making a guess. So,
I am too.
hey Jay from Montana, how are you? Yeah, so that's basically what's been going on in the shop. We do have our BDXS coming as well too. That's happening in the swap.
Hello.
So excited for that. In the Voodoo scheme, that's going to be exciting. Won't get to fly it till maybe February, so March.
Voodoo scheme's always good.
Speaking of events, have you been to Joe Null? I have not. It's on the bucket list for sure. Maybe in the next year or two, we'll make it out to Joe Null, but I have not been to Joe Null ever, other than virtually on the internet watching videos.
Yeah, driving is what, 3 days from
Yeah.
here, basically.
Yeah, it's like what, probably 3,000 kilometers?
Yeah, it's over 3,000 kilometers. It's like 3,200 kilometers. It's a long way.
So that'd be 2,400 miles, right?
Yeah. You thought Muncie was far.
Yeah, so for us to drive to Joe Null, 2,400 miles, if you're from the US, 3,000 kilometers, which is a lot.
That's
so
a lot.
Joe Null is kind of a fly thing, not to bring planes in. I mean, it'd be fun to bring planes,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't just drive out there for Null. I would want to do it for lots of other things. So,
Yeah.
Chloe wants to know where Nez is.
Nez
Good
is there.
question, Chloe.
She's relaxing.
We will take you to show you Nez. Nez has been in the shop all day, sleeping in her chair. Hi, Bubba's.
She doesn't care for
There we go. Oh, yeah.
Oh.
She's had a busy day. So yeah, that's kind of the gist of what's been going on. Not a lot of crazy stuff, not a lot of cool stuff to show you, I don't think. We do have some behind the scenes stuff that we're kind of working on. We can't really talk about it though. So that's kind of fun. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you. I have you the Strega. I love the Strega. It's an awesome plane. Dan in Cornwall, UK. Hey Dan, how are you?
You fly my Strega when you come. Casper. Where's that?
Out east.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's just trying to think of what else. Oh, so some other things. Sorry, I was meant to put a list together for this, but I didn't put a list together. So we now have ashlock connectors on our website. So if you're looking for ashlock connectors, I've got them listed on my store.
That's nice.
We have also added another aircraft to the for sale aircraft section on the website. So there's a PC-21 from Skymaster on there as well. So now there's a PC-21 from Skymaster and the F-18, which is right above our heads here. So yeah, and if also I'm just looking at the thumbs ups. If you guys are on the live right now and you haven't given the video a thumbs up, please do that. Yes, so
it helps.
Joseph, you missed the project list. Came on too late. Here's the project list. I'll give you a quick shot of it.
Yeah, there you go.
So there we go. There is the project list. Lots of things. There is more to add, but haven't put everything on there yet. So yeah, the radial. I saw who asked a question about the radial. Yeah, so the radial, I actually started recording a video months ago. We've got, so it is the Evolution 777 radial or something like that. It's a glow engine. And we've got the gas conversion to go to gas, obviously. So yeah, I haven't set the timing up on it, haven't run the engine, but that is one of the upcoming projects. So, and yes, that list will definitely keep us busy for a while. Fortunately, a lot of the planes, the bigger fleet planes, are going to be showing up in the new year, a couple months into the new year. So we do have, which is actually works out really well because we've got lots of time to catch up on projects that have been sitting here for a while. So
like the T-33.
Well, mine gets pushed to the back burner always, but yeah, the T-33 would be nice to get it progressing as it sits over there collecting dust.
A little bit more, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of the update, everything I can think of. If you guys have any additional questions, please ask away. Somebody's promoting Jeti. Alberta's littlest airport next year visit? I hope so. This year I didn't make it out.
You were really busy at that time.
Yeah, last year,
Really busy.
I think I made it out 2 years ago.
Yeah,
I believe I did. Last year I didn't make it out to Little Airport, which kind of sucked. But yeah, unfortunately there's a lot of events packed in that time, right? So that's kind of the nature of it all. Yeah, the BVM F100 should be a hoot, absolutely. That plane is going to be cool because it's a lot like the Super Bandit where it's just all antiquated materials and equipment and everything in there. So we're going to be stripping the entire thing down and starting from scratch, which is going to be nice.
How old is that BVM 100? Is that the original one that Dave had?
David, how old is that BVM 100 that you have? Russell, David's asking, did you put your name down for a G2?
No, I
DS24
can't afford
G2?
an update.
Oh,
Sorry,
that's okay.
I bought a GTI car instead. No.
So, that's it. If you guys have any other questions, let me know. We're going to dive back into working on the Super Bandit a little bit here. So just before we started the live, the F100's over 15 years old.
That's not
David
bad.
was saying.
It's going to be neat to see the build difference from then to now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey Gizmo. So Gizmo said, from San Antonio, have you ever built a large bomber? I have not. That's been something that I have not worked on. Just before we started the live, I just got the upper tray installed and we got all of our wire leads plugged in. So that was one of the last things we did. Got the R3 installed, which is sitting right here. That's plugged into the S-Bec. Just put in a battery and confirmed that the battery does turn everything on successfully. So this is our main battery plug for a one battery setup. Uh-oh, this plane's gonna be powered with one battery.
It's not so. No.
Don't tell anybody, pisses people off.
Somebody.
One 3S battery. So yeah, that's where we finished off. And we're pretty much ready to button up this area. Now this is gonna be a little bit different than the previous Super Bandit we did because the previous Super Bandit, none of this stuff was here. We just had a battery in the nose. This one, because we needed to fit so much stuff in there, this tray is going to be sitting in that front section. Our single battery is sitting right here, and it's going to plug in there. Moonlight Jake, thank you for that. I appreciate that. That's wicked. Moonlight Jake sent me $10.
Wow, hey.
Very nice.
Wherever he's from, thank you very much.
Thank you.
What about a BVM F16? Never used a bypass before, I'm wondering.
Good question, Moonlight Jake. So that's actually a very fitting question for this aircraft as well. So,
Heat, yeah.
so if you look at this setup, I would really like to have this. Let me grab something a bit more substantial to use as a poker. How about trusty? So looking at this setup here, I would really love to have the tail cone of the turbine sitting about here, right? But with this setup, there's absolutely no way to get this turbine back there without completely not using the bypass. I mean, the only way to do that would be to take the straps and put it right there, which is not a good idea. So, so what I did in this case here is I coated this. This was coated with heat shield previously, but I sanded most of it down because it wasn't done properly from the beginning. So it was kind of put against a slippery material. So I took most of it off, I reapplied it, and came to that location right there. And then our hatch cover or bypass cover, I did a match to that with the heat shield as well. So if you think about it, the bypass works differently than an open setup. if you didn't have a fully bypass system, you know, running your turbine this far away from a pipe would be a huge issue. But with a fully bypass setup, air in equals air out, right? So it's a little bit of a different scenario to remember. You know, as soon as this cover's on, it changes everything, right? How this whole entire system works. This is almost acting like your big bell mouth that you'd normally find on a lot of aircraft. So, but it is important to protect that as well too. So, but yeah, so that's, hopefully that answers your question about the bypasses. You know, this, if you go back to 10 years ago, when this plane would normally get like a Jet Cat, maybe a P80 or a 120, those 120s were another 6 inches longer than this 160 from Chikoi. So, you know, the 120 would drop right in there, the tail cone would be sitting back here, the front of the engine would be sitting way up here. But yeah, it's a bit of a different scenario when you're putting these newer, smaller engines in older aircraft. So, I hope that answered your question. I saw some more. So Nick said the F100 would be a tad on heavy layup then, although today's engines and gear won't make a difference. Yeah. It's going to be a heavier plane probably compared to today's stuff, but
today's build.
We can build it a lot lighter as well too. I mean, that plane, I think it's got an Olympus in it, maybe. An old AMT engine. So as soon as you put a 195 in there, I mean, you're probably losing a few pounds on the engine alone. Nico said, when you built the MR Aero Design Platis Porter, what did you do for the radio trays and switches? I never got to that stage. So that aircraft, I got to primed stage, and then it went back to the owner. So the plan was, when you open up the door, there's a tray in there where we were going to mount the tank, and all of the equipment was going to mount on that tray as well. So that was the plan for it. But yeah, I never got to that stage with the aircraft. The other fellow that was building one at the same time as me, Aaron, I've had his on the channel with some flight videos. That's what he did. He put all the equipment on the bottom tray. David, X95 for the F100. How about 240 for the F100?
Probably makes
Yeah.
sense.
I think so.
Those F100s are nice.
Joseph, that Super Bandit is not mine. It's for David. David's on the chat right now. So I'd love to have that Super Bandit, but it's no, it's not my plane. It's Mr. Jet Guy's plane. So yeah, I think the 195, David, in the BVM F100 is going to be awesome. So. All right. I'll flip you guys around again. And again, if you have any questions, sorry about the shaky camera, let me know. So the next things to do on this plane are probably get that front tray installed and figured out. We've got this airline here. This airline is going to go to our fill valve, which our battery is going to sit there. Our fill valve is going to be skewed towards the front of that tray. And the point of doing that is so our airline tucks out of the way towards the front and stays away from the landing gear. So we're going to have a BVM fill valve right here, and then probably an air gauge as well too. So yeah, that's the plan with the trays. And then that battery plug, that can just get screwed onto here, which is perfect, because then if you need to take the tray out, you unscrew that and it just pops open. Robert, welcome from Seattle. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, so that's it. That's all. That's what we're doing. Lots of little things to do. So, you know, you think that you can get all of this done today, ready, finished, and then you just start doing all your wiring and airlines and everything, and 7 hours later today, we just finished the airline and the lines. It always takes longer than you kind of expect. So, Bum, bum, bum. All right, all my help is gone now, so everybody's on the phone inside. Yeah. Don't really know what to talk about. If you guys have questions, please ask. Please ask. Winter's here. It's cold out. It is currently, is the pattern plane a jet or F3A? The pattern plane is F3A is what it is. It's, I can't remember the manufacturer, but yeah, it's an F3A plane. It's going to be electric. It's going to have a counter-rotating prop, so two props, one that goes one way, one that goes the other way. Yeah. Here's our current temperature right now. So it's -1 degree Celsius, which is like, what is that, 28 degrees Fahrenheit kind of thing.
It's oh geez, I gotta get water into those barrels.
So yeah, it's cold. It's a lot colder.
We didn't get snow after Halloween, which is surprising.
Yeah. Yeah, Nick, that stuff is packed in there. I thought the red Super Bandit was packed. This one is way more packed because we have those 3 air valves to incorporate, plus the sequencer. So it's a lot. Casper Pizzuli. Yes, that's the whole point of doing the lives here from the shop, the After Darks, is just to hang out and answer questions for you guys, and you know, yeah, just have a good time. So Daniel said, do you still safety wire every airline connection? No, absolutely not. I do some of them, and those depend on the nipple that you're going onto. Actually, that's a good question. I'll show you that stuff. Every time I have to move the camera, you guys get to look at the shakiness. So let's turn you around. How about? So here's the wings for the Super Bandit, and this is the airline going to the brake, obviously. Now the stock setup was this right here. So
90 degrees.
So this is a little piece of tubing that's been bent, and that was sitting like that. So I'm not a fan of this. I've changed it twice now on this and another aircraft. So what we did was because this nipple is designed for BVM 2mm airline, and we're using like the normal larger airline over top of it, this is the only airline on this plane that I've safety wired. And then we put our little keepers on here. So they go all the way up the leg to hold everything in place. So on this plane, that's the only airline we have safety wired. Every other airline, the nipple is good sized. It is a nice tight fit. So there's really no need to do that. On some of the Skymaster kits, sometimes thank you, Moonlight Jake, I appreciate that. I'll answer your question in a second. Sometimes on the Skymaster kits, the nipple on the landing gear cylinders only has one bump or grabber bump on it. And when it only has that one grabber bump, then I will either safety wire the airline, which I actually don't like to do, unless there's a whole bunch of shoulder on there. Yeah. Let me grab some stuff and I'll show you guys, because that's a really good question. And one of my buddies is actually struggling with some airline stuff lately. So give me a second. So on that BVM brake, the reason that worked out well to safety wire,
that is small,
is because there is a good shoulder on the nipple.
Just past the nipple?
Try and get this up here for you. Okay, so a nipple like this, you can safety wire very well. because you've got a nice big shoulder area. So you can put 2 wraps of safety wire on there. A nipple like, sort of a bad example, but a nipple like this. Hopefully that focuses for you. Less of a shoulder, and safety wiring that is kind of a tough thing. So yeah, sometimes safety wire works, sometimes it doesn't. What I'll sometimes do on the Skymaster kits is use the rubberized CA. So I will cut a new Airline end, put it on, use some rubberized CA around the nipple fitting, and that tends to work quite well to hold it in place.
That would seal it really good.
Yeah, it's more about keeping the Airline on, because you want the thing to seal itself, right? So Moonlight Jake said if I wanted to keep the bell mouth of the turbine pipe on, it would be best to have the bypass go to the end of the turbine exhaust cone. I've got a diagram actually. I thought I had the diagram done up here. I get asked this question so often that I actually drew up a diagram. I just forget what I did with the diagram. So let me draw the diagram for you guys and show you.
A quick etch-a-sketch.
A quick sketch.
Quick sketch.
Where is my...
Arts and crafts.
There we go.
This is where it all paid off.
Okay, so let me do this here. There we go. Sharpie, we'll use Sharpie.
Fine pointed Sharpie coming up.
All right. So,
There we go.
there we go, I think you guys can see that. If you have a pipe with a small bell mouth or small little thing like that,
Ferrule, yeah.
or nothing at all, like I'm talking about something that's just like a little bump out. Most turbine manufacturers say you want this distance between your turbine tail cone and the start of the metal pipe to be 25 to 40 millimeters. So that's kind of the norm distance here, okay, for a standard setup.
Yeah.
And that is upside down for you guys, so I'll go like that. I think that's correct. Now for a pipe setup where you've got a big bell mouth, so this would be pretty typical setup now. These are normally, the depth here is normally 3 inches or 90 millimeters.
Yeah, they're big.
So that's kind of the norm I find on most of these. So when you've got a setup like this, you want the end of your turbine tail cone to be at the halfway point. So what you want to do is you want to measure this distance. If it's 3 inches, 90 millimeters, you want the end of your turbine to be 45 millimeters or halfway point, whatever that is.
1.5 inches.
So that's kind of what you're looking for. With a bypass, that changes everything. What's more important about the bypass? So bypass being, you've got just like I showed you in the BVM kit, you've got the lower portion, the top portion, so it's fully enclosed.
Like a coffin can.
Yeah, it's less important with a full bypass because the purpose of these things here is, especially this one, if your turbine's too far away, you run the risk of it blowing hot air not down the pipe. If the turbine's in too far, you'll restrict the amount of air that can get through the system. This makes things a little bit easier where you just split the difference. So generally this actually works out quite well. If your turbine's too big for the pipe, you'll restrict it. But with a full bypass, like I said, the amount of air going in is the amount of air going out, right? So it's a lot more efficient for that reason. So should I use the BVM heat treat paint or is it not needed? It's always a good idea, especially like in this situation that I showed you before with this Super Bandit. I wouldn't do this setup without doing heat shield in there. I think it's a great idea. It's not an expensive thing. I mean, I don't know how much those cans of heat shield are, but they're really not that expensive. So, put 3 or 4 coats on there, let it dry in between, and it works really well.
It's better than having a barbecue back there.
Exactly. Without it, you'll find that the bypass will discolor, which isn't a big deal, but yeah.
Then you'll lose structure.
It'll start to get soft. So.
Yep.
So Dave said, do you know of any video of yours where you went through the details of setting up flaps with butterfly crow menu? I just can't wrap my head around it. I've gone over it in a lot of recent videos. So like the Picaro video, I've probably gone over it in more detail. I think the Elite Aerosports Razor, I went over it in detail. Those are the suggestions, though, that I'm looking for the shorts technical videos, which I've been doing on Jeti stuff. So I'll add that to the list. Mm-hmm. So far I've got tools of RC, flight modes, and then we'll do flaps with Jeti.
With crow, yeah, flaps and crow too, yeah.
But I did go over that on the, I think it was the Picaro 2.0 video, I covered that. Dean said, just got home from Sun Valley Jets. Extremely well run, lots of fun, great food, and awesome display of aircraft and pilot skills. Thanks for Tony and his awesome job. Cool. Very cool. All right, so we're all caught up in questions, I think. Oh, Ward finally decided to join us.
Yes, sorry about that.
Hey,
Did you get out of prison?
when duty calls.
Doing that fraud on my card.
Yeah.
Prison. Yeah.
All right, guys, so if you have any other questions, let me know. Let me know. Just going to make sure. Oh, Dean, I just see your other question here. Just joining, newbie question. I hear the term snakeskin all the time. What is the source for that product? Good question. Let me grab some.
You can get it off of Amazon. Goes by a couple different.
So you can get it at like DreamWorks has it. That's where I get my gray stuff from. Kind of the normal black stuff like this, you can, I think DreamWorks has that as well too, but you can get it from Amazon as well. I find the Amazon stuff isn't quite as good quality as like electronics part supply places.
Yes. No
So
makers of it, that's right.
I think on Amazon it's called expandable braided sleeve, but there's lots of different sources. But I've never been to our local source, but I know our local source, I can't remember the name of it, but it's just an electronics store, and you can get lots of different colors from there as well. So good question though.
Yeah, it looks like, did you get the crow question?
Not yet.
Could you go over with the crow on the rudders of the FA-18?
Sometime, yes.
Daniel Holmes, I remember that name.
Is the O-ring, so Daniel said, is the O-ring on the turbine starter clutch a standard nitrile rubber? Yes, standard black rubber.
Oh, okay.
Chad, it's Active Electronics. Oh, thank you. That's the name of the supplier, yes. I'm like,
Yeah.
Active Electronics, what the heck are you talking about?
That's up at the airport, I think it is. Yeah, I think I know, yeah.
Yeah, typically,
there.
good question, Dean. Typically, I will put heat shrink on the end of the snakeskin. I think I've got a good example here. So like in the Super Bandit as an example, so this is actually a great example. So the rudder lead, which is right here. I heat the ends with a lighter to make sure that they don't fray. But in this case, I just put this piece on, no heat shrink, and no heat shrink right here. But as these leads come forward, I've put heat shrink on them on this end. So it kind of depends on the scenario. You know, if I'm doing like the Picaro wings there as an example, or the Super Bandit wings here, you know, this is kind of the standard setup. So some heat shrink over top of the end keeps everything nice and tight and prevents it from fraying. So that's the normal method of doing it.
Adds a sense of clean finish too to the whole project.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is friction protection, right?
Friction, yeah, against the fiberglass and stuff.
David S. wants to know if you have the CG weight.
Yeah,
of
so
the
David
rest.
said, do you have the CG weight of the red Super Bandit so you can match to the yellow one? Yes, I think I've still got it programmed in my Chikoi scale.
We're going to go like
And I have it written down. So yeah, we'll check and confirm that, because we do have on this one, David, there's the screws have been installed in the bottom of the fuselage for the stock CG location. Obviously, we're well behind that. So
that's good.
Yeah, I saw that on the Chikoi. I'm going like, what?
Ever since he corrected,
So what is that? What language is that? Will they
it's Spanish,
Spanish? Okay.
right? Chico is in Spain.
correct.
Yeah, so the X is quiet.
Quite, yeah. Okay.
I think it means little kid is the direct translation.
Really?
Yeah, or little boy or something like
Really?
that. So yeah,
That's interesting why you
Oh,
name
that's-
it that.
that's-
That's kind of cool.
yeah. I
That's really cool.
I mean, this yellow Super Bandit, I think will be lighter, but because of the 160, but we also have the air valves throughout everywhere. We've got the other one had an S-Spec 30, so yeah, I mean, we do have the air valves added in, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see the difference with the construction and the final weight. I'm curious as well too. So hopefully it's equal or maybe lighter.
So you use that Aspect 30 to reduce the power down into the receiver, right?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Kenneth said, is the helicopter going to be a turbine? No, it's going to be electric powered. We've already got all the electronics. It's like electric season here. We've got the Bronco, the pattern plane's electric, the helicopter is going to be electric, and those are both coming up next. So lots.
We're converting to electric now?
Nick, Jet Dave's doing a refurb of his fleet. Yep, all the old classics are getting redone. Perhaps a short on logic switches and or custom mixes. Good suggestion. Daniel said, what 3D printer would you recommend as
them what you
Xmas is
have.
coming up? Just going to add
There's a couple here.
some things here. So I'm going to do
Mixes.
mixes, logic.
Mixes are always.
Now, my intention with this Jeti stuff is not to compete with Master Harry, even though we don't use some of Master Harry's stuff. But yeah, just to go over some of the things that we normally do and maybe that we do a little bit different. So 3D printer wise, I've got 3 different printers here. So we've got the Bamboo Labs printer, we've got the Jeti Q1 Pro printer, and we've got the Creality K1. I think it's maybe the Max printer. It's their big Creality one.
It's bigger than mine, it's a Max.
That's the one to get right there. So the X1 Carbon, I know they make lower end models, but I tell you, this thing with the AMS, I bought a second AMS, but this thing with the AMS, it just prints perfect all the time.
And tell them
So-
what you can print out of it.
When, like, here's some trays for Cortexes, for example. So I just designed this on my own last week, and we've got the front back screw downs, side screw downs. I did my design up. I printed a single
That's the one you had to do
prototype,
lettering.
checked everything over, and every single one of those printed perfectly. So yeah, this printer, hands down, the best printer I've ever used, and it is awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely awesome. Prints pretty much everything 100% all the time. So.
But it won't print money.
Steve says we should have a Jeti 201 class. 201.
We should Jeti 201 class. I agree. Have
And
you
then
used the
202.
Jeti RCP S10 power switch? Yes. I think that model is now approved in North America. The Voodoo Scheme Rebel Classic that I did about a year ago, that had that switch in it. So, and works great, especially with the single battery setup that we use on a plane that size. Makes it really simple. So, Kenneth said, "Guess I'm an old dog. I love the smell of nitromethane in the morning. I still like that too. When guys are at the field flying helis, it smells great."
Yeah, it does.
Casper said, "I got my X1 because of your review on it. Absolutely love it." Yeah, there you go. It just works so well. Yes, as David said, that switch we used on the Rebel Classic.
What plastic are you using in the mouth?
So generally,
PLA? No, not PLA.
no, I don't really use PLA for anything.
That's what I was asking.
If I'm making like stuff for my wife or kids, then I'll use PLA. But like for inside stuff, but anything airplane related, I use different materials. So this material here is PETG carbon fiber. So I pretty much only use Bamboo Labs filaments as well, but this is their PETG carbon fiber gray. The carbon fiber material is nice. It prints with a little bit of a matte finish and really hides all of the printing lines. So that was printed with a 0.4 nozzle, and this is the top side that wasn't sitting against the build plate, and then that is the build plate side, which I was using a textured build plate. So yeah, great material. And then the PETG is more heat resistant than most. Oh, who sent? Brandon Rose, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, $20.
Oh my God.
So Brandon said, let me just make sure. Paul, hey, how are you? Nice to see you. Thank you for commenting and sharing all my videos on Facebook. I appreciate that. Tord said, did the F4 make it safely to Norway? It did make it safely to Norway. One of the wing tips, the little extensions on the wing tip, it was damaged in shipping. DHL put a fork through the box.
Oh.
Fortunately, that's all that got damaged. So I think we're getting it fixed because getting a new tip and matching all the nomenclature is impossible. So. Brandon Rose, love your channel and appreciate you and your team's knowledge. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I ordered a quarter scale BVM Yak 130. I was told it does not fly as well on a single as it does on a twin. Never owned a twin, but wanted to know what you would buy. If an airplane can be set up as a twin, that's generally the way I would suggest going. Probably generally the biggest benefits with a twin is if an engine flames out and is restarting, or if an engine flames out. Normally, if you're sizing the engines like we would, you can generally fly the plane on one engine. Now there are some exceptions, like an A10 as an example. The engines are so far apart, an ME262 where they're even further apart, you're going to get so much turning, that you probably can't correct for it. But if your engine shuts down or restarts, it's always nice to have two. So
It's nice to stay in the air.
Sometimes the single engines end up lighter,
But you lose thrust through the pipe.
Yeah. Right? So I'm thinking of Chad, who's on here. We did his F-15 from Fabeo Jets 4 years ago. That's a twin. If he did a single, he'd lose a couple pounds, but you're going to lose some thrust through the bipipe. So
Chad, the engine ran good on one. No, it did. It was just hanging on.
yeah. So
For life.
Thank you, Brandon, for that. I appreciate it, and hopefully that answers your question. Yeah, the Jeti RCP S10 works best with Rex 12 receivers, just like we're using in the Super Bandit. So, if you're using that Jeti switch, you've got one battery lead coming in, you've got one battery lead going out. That battery lead going out goes to the Rex 12. And in the case where you are using a larger turbine, like we're using in this plane where you use a 3-cell battery for the turbine, then maybe using the SBEC 30 makes more sense because you're taking a 3-cell battery and dropping it down to 8.4 volts for your receiver setup. So yeah, it was really frustrating with that, and I'll tell you guys, the shipping charge on that plane to get it to Norway was $4,900 Canadian.
Oh,
so it's very frustrating to ship that with DHL by air and have them put a fork through the box. Very frustrating.
Where's their professionalism?
But
there is none.
yeah, it's getting dealt with, and the owner will have a beautiful plane to fly soon. So. Yeah, and Chad ran his F-15 sort of successfully with one engine in Montana.
Right. That's right. That's right. Just about out of fuel too. Dry as a martini when it landed.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a wing and a prayer, that one. That was.
He did a good job at it, bringing it back.
He did. Very
He had
good.
a good change of shorts after that one.
All right, guys, we are
Cruising up to 8.
Yeah, we're getting close to
The witching hour.
close to our hour mark. If you have any final questions, let me know. Let me know.
Don't forget daylight savings time.
Yes.
Oh, is that tonight?
It is
yeah.
daylight savings time tonight.
We didn't know about it until we heard
Just
it on the
checking
radio.
on the comments.
So we get an extra hour's sleep.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I could use it.
Yeah, we should do a Jeti 201 class.
Yeah.
It would be kind of interesting to do if we could schedule a live with
Okay.
other Jeti users.
Yeah.
And bounce stuff off. No, that's exactly it.
Yeah, that'd be kind of interesting to do a live.
Everybody has their Jeti in front of them.
Yeah.
We get
Yep.
Dave the Wizard Jeti.
Yeah,
Manny
it'd be
in
interesting.
there. Snowball on there.
You almost set it up like a bunch of monitors and classes and people on it.
All across the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, Floyd, it was the big Skymaster F4. Fortunately, it was just the tip, right? Like, you've on that plane, you've got the two wings, then you've got the tips that plug in. It was just the tip that got damaged. So,
So lucky.
yeah, very lucky.
Would have been very upset with the fuselage.
How large is
RC
the-
Flyer 2001, are you saying that about the Jeti Live? Because I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
David, thank you. And I think when we do lives, I think I can add other people in.
Their feeds, yes.
I'm going to have to look at that and see about doing that. Because David, if you'd be interested in doing the live with us, then people can bounce questions off of both of us because I can't always answer all the questions. It's more about
And we need the Yoda of Jeti.
more about
Oh, he's
so-
learned it with the map.
But yeah, maybe we'll do it once the second version. Good comment, Chad. Once the second version comes out, and more guys I know that are getting Jeti for the first time
Get up to speed of how the new
get their
one works.
radio, then we can do that.
Yeah. And the finite details between the old and the new.
So yeah, that'd be cool. Good suggestion. I'm going to write that on the board as
Yeah,
well.
that's a really good suggestion.
Because I'm sure you should be able to do it like a group call.
Yeah, like a conference call.
Yeah, a conference call, but just using live. I think you should be able to
All
do it.
right. So yeah, if you guys have any other questions, we've got about 5 minutes left. Jeti class, yes. All right, it's been added to the board. We'll do some thinking on that, how to get it scheduled up. Probably,
From Northern California.
I don't know if we're going to wait till long in the new year. I'd rather do it during the winter time. So we'll probably do it. We'll think about doing it in maybe December or January and figure that out. So
Before Christmas.
keep an eye out for that. We'll get that figured out because I think that'll be good. I'm just thinking about that if we,
That would be really good.
yeah, we'll put some thought into that and figure that out.
This is like a classroom thing.
Yeah.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it. Yes, please, for the Jeti class. I want to get one, just don't know how soon. Yeah, it's, well, and it's always one of those videos, obviously, that you can refer back to. Obviously, if you have a radio sitting in front of you, it's going to be more beneficial because then you can work through it with us. So, thank you, Tricky Ricky. Appreciate that. Using Futaba. Sorry to hear that. All right, guys, that's it. Final couple seconds here. If you have any final questions, ask away. But thank you guys for tuning into the live. As we start to get different projects coming in, the lives will be obviously different. So we're going to be doing the next live in 2 weeks. And on that next live, I suspect we'll be very deep into the pattern plane, the F3A plane. We'll probably have the helicopter out of the package as well. We'll have the new F100 here in the shop. Lots of cool things going on. So
That'll be like old
appreciate
school
that.
for you for the helicopter.
Dave Freeman, thank you so much. I appreciate that. That's wicked. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate that. Very cool. Thank you for your tips and donations. That's awesome. Appreciate it a lot. So thanks guys for tuning in. It was a fun live. Always enjoy it.
It's really good.
Have a good night. RC Flyer 2001, get the 16. You'll appreciate it. It does everything that you need it to do and more. So, all right. Thanks, guys. Have a good night. Whoa.